Wow, what a start for the Philadelphia Eagles. What a start for Nick Sirianni. Amazing, amazing opener against the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to talk about it. So I'm going to be trying something new on the channel, kind of more of a free-form talk. We did it a little bit with the Sixers. Now we're going to do it for the Eagles. Each week I'm going to break down the game, the result, kind of my raw reaction, and just kind of give my thoughts on what happened during the game, kind of spotlighting players and all that good stuff, and give you guys all the birds talk. So if you're an Eagles fan, even if you're a football fan in general, consider subscribing, talking about it down below in the comments. Would really appreciate the engagement and just kind of the conversation of talking football. You know, that's kind of what I'm going to be starting to do here more often every Sunday or so, or whenever they play, Thursday, Monday, whenever the birds play, I'm going to be talking about it after the game, post-game reaction. So let's do it. So the Eagles beat the Falcons 32-6 on the road in Atlanta, first game of the season, and it was, like I alluded to in the open, fantastic. Everything you would have wished for in an Eagles opener, where a lot of questions were asked about this team. No one really knew what the offense was going to look like. The defense, there's a lot of holes. There's some kind of things to clean up there. But the offense, everyone was like, what is going to be the Eagles offense? Because you saw nothing of that in preseason. So everyone had a lot of questions of what it was going to kind of turn into. And boy, they came out hot and they came out ready to play. I give a lot of credit to Jalen Hurts. I was a naysayer. I wasn't a believer initially. And again, this is just one game. This is the first game of the season. So there's a whole lot of football left. But in game number one, just kind of evaluating Jalen Hurts so far, he was fantastic. Absolutely amazing. I think this was the best game of his career, in his short career. He looked poised. He looked confident. And he looked like the leader that a lot of people were talking about him in camp, in preseason to be, and he totally delivered. He was 27 of 35, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he also ran for 62 yards as well. So doing it with his legs, escaping pressure. There were a lot of plays where the Eagles offensive line, who were kind of up and down throughout the day, had protection issues and kind of broke down in protection, and Jalen was able to scramble to his right, scramble to his left, get out of plays where normally a regular NFL quarterback would have been sacked, but Jalen used his speed, he used his IQ to really get out and get yards. I can't also talk enough about Devonta Smith and how impressive he was in his debut. 6 catches, 71 yards, a touchdown. His first catch was the first score of the game, first score of the season on that fade to the end zone where he was wide open. Nice throw by Jalen to start off the scoring, and he was fantastic. Led the Eagles in receiving yards, made multiple good routes, was just able to get open all day, and looked really confident. Again, a first-year player, a rookie who hasn't played in a regular season game, looked like he'd been out there for a couple years. He's smooth. He's just so smooth. I think that's the way to describe him. He's smooth in his routes. He's smooth in his ability to catch the football, and he gets yards. So that's exactly what you wanted out of your first-round pick of a receiver. And I think that if you're Nick Sirianni, you got to be really happy with the talent at wide receiver, the speed at running back, the speed at wide receiver as well. All around, there's some weapons on this offense. There's some weapons and threats. So I think that's something that some opposing teams have to keep their eye on in the next couple weeks with the Eagles. Jalen Reagor, also really nice to see him get a touchdown. He had 6 catches for 49 yards. Really good to see him get involved on that slip screen at the end of the game in the second half and score. His speed also, as I mentioned with the wide receiving room, is a threat, and he was returning punts and doing that as well. So he was involved all day, and it was nice to see him get going and get some confidence after last year struggled. So this year, trying to build a new confidence for Jalen Reagor. If he can have a good season, along with Devonta Smith, with the tight end room and the running backs, again, it's a recipe for success for this Eagles offense. The two things that were a little not good, I guess if you want to phrase it that way, I don't know why I phrased it that way, but the defense was a little suspect in the first half. The Falcons were able to run the ball at will. Matt Ryan had a decent first half, and they were able to kind of move the ball down the field pretty successfully. However, bend but don't break for Jonathan Gannon's defensive squad. They only allowed 6 points in the entire game, so overall, great effort. Second half, they looked dominant. They were able to get to the quarterback, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox started getting pushed at the line, Hassan Ridgeway, Javon Hargrave. I mean, everyone was getting in on the action in the second half. But in the first half, a little slow to get started for the defense. But overall, I'd give them a B or a B plus effort. The other kind of glaring thing in this game was the amount of penalties. There were flags flying almost every other play, basically. And I think that, in terms of the first game, obviously, there's a lot of rust, and a lot of these guys haven't played in the preseason. So the Eagles had 14 penalties. The Falcons had 12, so a total of 26 penalties in the game for yardage combined to 188 yards totaled out to. The Eagles had, let me check here, 14 penalties for 89 yards, and the Falcons had 12 penalties for 99 yards. So if my math checks out, I believe that's 188 total. But 14 penalties, 89 yards, not great. Very bad, actually. So definitely something for Nick Sirianni to work on in terms of cleaning things up in the penalty area and just kind of keep it more clean. But other than that, the Eagles put up 32 points, so it really didn't matter. But you want to kind of create good habits for this offensive line and defensive line, and the offensive line had some penalties today, and it happens. It does happen, and no one's perfect, and, like I said, it's the first game of the season, so they will get things cleaned up. Don't make a habit of having 14 penalties for 89 yards every game, please, because that would not turn out well. The Eagles outpassed, outrushed, pretty much outdid the Falcons in every category. They were also 3 for 3 in the red zone, so that's also really nice to see. Jalen Hurts kind of struggled a little bit in the red zone last year when he did get playing time, so that's something for me when I was looking at him preseason, kind of talking about what he needs to improve on. It's converting in the red zone. And if you're able to have success in that area, you're typically going to win ball games, especially when you have guys like Dallas Goedert, who caught a fantastic touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts in the first half. They also won the time of possession battle. Pretty much down the board statistically, the Eagles won every category. And when you have a game that's 32-6, that's usually what's going to happen. And I'm happy to say that they were able to convert and be successful. I was very happy with what Nick Sirianni did today. I thought he did a good job in his debut. I like him going for 2 in the first half when they were, there was the penalty on that one play, and it was 13-6, and they moved the ball to the 1. So instead of taking the kick and going up 14-6, going up 8, he's like, you know what? Let's just go for 2. And they give the ball to Miles Sanders up the middle, 2-point conversion, 2-score game. And I think that kind of set the tone, and they definitely were able to silence any of the doubters, even though they were underdogs, which I think is kind of funny in this game. The Falcons, not a great team. Pretty bad, actually. They scored consistently, kind of going back to the offense in every quarter, which is nice. You have that consistent offense. They were able to move the ball. The run game looked really well. Miles Sanders was able to, make some moves. I think he hurdled a guy in the second half. He had 74 yards on the ground, 15 carries, 74 yards, so not a bad day at the office for Miles. He had a couple catches as well. Kenny Gainwell scored his first touchdown, another rookie getting involved. So that's a nice 1-2 punch at running back with Sanders and Gainwell for Jalen Hurts. They're young there still, but they have talent. Again, like I said, it's just the beginning of the season, but it is a great start, and it's something that is, if you're a fan of the Birds, you got to be happy about. You got to be excited about, especially when you have the Phillies being the Phillies, the Flyers being inconsistent, and the Sixers absolutely just destroying our hearts. So we needed something as Philly fans to just kind of be like, all right, can we please not have some heartbreak? And the Eagles started off well. So it's a good first step in this season. Pleased with what Nick Sirianni was able to do overall. I think that there is some things to work on. The penalties got to drastically go down, and definitely, the defense, I think, overall, putting a full consistent effort together is something that, when they play the Chiefs, when they play the 49ers next week, teams like that, when they play Dallas, they're going to need a full defensive effort. But if their offense can keep this up, they'll be in games with any team in the league. It's just a matter of them keeping it up. But we'll see. So overall, the Eagles move to 1-0. They will play San Francisco next week at home at the Link home opener to start week 2 for the Birds. And we'll see what happens with that game. We will make a video after the final whistle of the Eagles and 49ers, so that'll be next week. And that's pretty much it for this recap video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. That always helps out the channel. If you're new, again, consider subscribing. and comment down below. I really want to hear from you guys what you think of this Eagles team, what you thought of this game today, strengths, weaknesses, what your hopes are for the rest of the season. Let me know down below. And that'll do it for me, guys. Appreciate the support as always. It means the world to me. And I'm out. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.